Okay, this is the starting of a concept. I don't know if it's going to work out or not. But it's an underwater scene with an elephant, its calf swimming. The idea, the concept is sound, but it's a very big, twice as big panel as I'm used to, but we'll see. Okay, so this is a little different. I'm not sure. Okay, so the concept is actually a real thing. Elephants do swim, and they're very graceful in there. And decided to do this one, and then all of a sudden I thought of, a baby on the back, kind of like teaching, and it's a little bit too hokey for me. I don't really like hokey, but sometimes I do stuff that I really like, and people don't really even care or don't even like it. It's just kind of, you never know. So I'm still might fail on this one because there's a lot of stuff in here that's iffy. I'm just going to show you, I'm going to pull out some highlights, and the sunlight coming from this part is going to be the hardest thing. There's a lot of good detail in, the structure here, but what I'm going to try to do is pull out the color like a reflection. Now, this is probably where I'm going to fail, because reflection in water is very difficult. Probably one of the hardest things. And what I'm going to try to do is try to do the best I can. And then I'm going to scan underwater photography. Hopefully I'm catching the right reflections of objects or animals in the water. I added a lot more detail to the coral, and I can't really see it right now, but I believe the other one I put in there shows that. So that's something that I can control. I have knowledge of that, or the ability to do something like that. Now, I'm just going to explain what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of going in like little cross patterns, because the ripples in the water have kind of a triangular effect on things. Now, when I get to this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right in one little spot, and I'm going to keep pulling out, pulling out, pulling out, until I get that really, really hard highlight, and then soften it. Come in here again, and come back in again, and then soften it. Because the peak part of the wave pattern, it's really intensified. Now, I'm really not too thrilled about the elephant in itself. I mean, it has a lot of detail. I could see a lot of, and this is my problem, see a lot of structure problems. A lot of people wouldn't, or most people wouldn't see things and they would say, oh, that looks pretty good. But, it's like being that scientific illustrator jazz, I can't help but, falls back onto, that this part's good, this part's good, this part's good, that is not working, this is not working. I'm not really happy with the reflections here, so I'm trying to squint my eyes and see kind of what's happening. And now this is one that might fail. I'm going to push it as far as I can. I'm going to do the baby. I'm going to do the sky in the background and the top of the water, so it looks like you can see the top of the water, and then you have like underwater experience at the same time. Doesn't mean it's going to work. This is one that it's really iffy for me right now. There's a lot of good stuff on the bottom, but I'm just trying to explain what's happening in here. Let's see if I can, and the reflections probably look a lot better right now. But I'm just gonna zoom in so you can see some really good detail in here in the skin patterns. I got some little slight reflections. I'm not sure how the water or the reflection of the sun would kind of affect this, and this may all change when I look at better reference. I'm just trying to pick up highlights. Now I may just kind of alter it a little bit to follow the patterns when I have reference, but you never know. This is my latest painting that I'm going to try to make it a success. Now this is twice as large as I normally work, and this might be a big failure. Now I know I can save the coral, and of course this is the rough side that's just laid out. Background's okay. I'm gonna probably try to put a top layer and then a sky on top of this, so it looks like you can see the top of the water. Been working with this. The concept is I really like. Elephants do swim, and I'm trying to get the darks and lights in there, and then kind of try to do that water sunlight reflection. Now, because it's a lot darker, it's going to be a lot harder to manipulate the lines. But I'm going to give it a shot. This might be a failure because things do fail. I'm hoping it doesn't, because like I said, this is a good concept. And I'll pull back out. We'll see. Well, I think I'm saving it so far. Went into the highlights and took out most of the little streaks, so it just has some fine highlights, but not so overpowering, and actually it looks a lot better in real time. Right now I'm just kind of pulling out some little light streaks at the top surface of the water, and I'll go in there and go back and forth and bring out a lot lighter little reflections. So this is kind of working. And then of course I have the sky. This will be kind of the top surface of the water. This has some fairly nice coral detail. Still need to, this is working all right. Just need to work on some of this. So it's still up in the air, but I think I just took out those really harsh reflection lights. I'm just making a few streaks, not too much, just to break it up some. Like I said, I'm going to put a few more extreme highlights in here, and then work on the top part and finish the coral. Okay, I'm working on the water. It's a series of tiny little strokes. And I'll probably go in there with some white. A little bit later.